Hello, I'm Dr. Sophie Miller, and today I'm going to share with you a discovery that completely changed the way I treat my diabetic patients. After decades prescribing medications for diabetes, I discovered that 3 simple vitamins, which almost no doctor mentions, can reduce glucose faster than you imagine. And the most impressive part, they're already available, they're affordable, and science proves every benefit I'm going to show you. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic and you've already tried everything, strict diet, physical exercise, various medications, but your glucose remains uncontrolled, pay very close attention to what I'm going to reveal now. What you're about to learn here can completely change your relationship with this silent disease that affects more than 37 million Americans. Have you ever stopped to think why, even doing everything right, your blood sugar stays high? The answer might be precisely in these 3 vitamins I'm going to show you. The truth is hard, but it needs to be said. The vast majority of diabetics live deficient in essential nutrients, and this completely sabotages glucose control. It's not just about blood sugar, it's about how your cells receive and process the energy you consume. And without these 3 specific vitamins, you're literally fighting with one hand tied behind your back, making your entire treatment more difficult. Let me explain exactly what happens inside your body so you understand why these vitamins are so powerful. When you eat any food, especially carbohydrates, glucose enters the bloodstream. Then the pancreas senses that increase and releases insulin, which works like a key opening the doors of cells so glucose can enter and transform into energy. But in type 2 diabetes, those doors start to jam. It's the famous insulin resistance. Glucose keeps circulating in the blood without being able to enter the cells, and this causes progressive damage to the nerves, kidneys, eyes, and especially the heart. You feel fatigue, excessive thirst, blurred vision, and that tingling in your extremities that bothers you so much. What almost nobody knows, and this is fundamental, is that certain vitamins act as lubricants for those cellular doors. They unlock the system, dramatically increase insulin sensitivity, and accelerate glucose metabolism. Without them, you can take all the metformin in the world, all the prescribed medication, and still continue with sugar spikes that destroy your quality of life. I met Mrs. Johnson 2 years ago, a story that deeply marked me. She was 62 years old, had been diabetic for 10 years, and her blood sugar always stayed above 180, even taking all her medication. She was tired with swollen legs, felt constant tingling in her hands, and could no longer walk without feeling pain. We did every possible test, and when we checked her vitamin levels, we discovered something shocking: severe deficiency in the 3 vitamins I'm going to show you now. We adjusted the supplementation, kept her medication without changing anything, and in just 6 weeks her blood sugar dropped to 110. She returned to walking without pain, completely lost the swelling, and told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, it feels like I woke up from a nightmare." Can you imagine recovering your life like that? So let's get to the 3 vitamins that can transform your glycemic control. The first is vitamin D, and pay attention because this is crucial. The overwhelming majority of diabetics have vitamin D deficiency, and this is not coincidence or chance. Robust scientific studies show that vitamin D activates specific receptors in pancreatic cells, significantly improving insulin production. Additionally, it increases the sensitivity of cells to the insulin that's already circulating, facilitating the entry of glucose inside the cells where it needs to be. Without sufficient vitamin D, your pancreas works in maximum effort mode, exhausting itself, and still fails to control glucose. Have you had your vitamin D tested? The therapeutic dose is usually between 2,000 to 4,000 international units per day, but it needs to be individually adjusted with blood tests because each person absorbs differently. Natural sources include sun exposure for 15 to 20 minutes per day with arms and legs exposed, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, and egg yolks. But I'm going to be honest with you, supplementation is almost always necessary, especially when many people work in closed environments all day long. The second vitamin is B1, also called thiamine, and this is really the forgotten vitamin of diabetes. Thiamine is absolutely essential for glucose metabolism. It's responsible for transforming sugar into usable energy inside cells. Here's the problem. Diabetics lose thiamine through urine in excess, creating a dangerous vicious cycle. The more uncontrolled your glucose is, the more thiamine you lose, and without sufficient thiamine, glucose isn't processed correctly, accumulating toxic metabolites that cause that diabetic neuropathy. You know, that terrible pain and tingling in your feet that doesn't let you sleep? Recent and very well-conducted studies show that supplementing with benfotiamine, which is a more potent and absorbable form of B1, drastically reduces nerve complications and significantly improves glycemic control. The common dose is 150 to 300 milligrams of benfotiamine per day. You can find thiamine in natural sources like whole grains, pork, sunflower seeds, and beans, but the supplemented form is much more effective for those who already have established diabetes. Have you felt that tingling that won't go away? The third vitamin is K2, and this is really the great unknown. Most people have never heard of it. Vitamin K2 activates a protein called osteocalcin, which not only strengthens your bones, preventing osteoporosis, but also directly regulates glucose metabolism and impressively improves insulin sensitivity. Recent and very solid scientific research indicates that people with adequate K2 levels have up to 20% less risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Do you realize the impact of this? Additionally, K2 protects against arterial calcification, something absolutely critical for diabetics who have very high cardiovascular risk. The suggested dose is 100 to 200 micrograms per day. Natural sources include natto, which is a fermented Japanese food, aged cheeses like Gouda and Parmesan, egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens, and butter from grass-fed animals. Supplementation with K2-MK7 is the most bioavailable and effective form we have available. Now, I need to be completely direct and honest with you about something very important. These vitamins don't replace your medication or excuse you from proper nutrition, but they potentiate absolutely everything you're already doing. It's like putting premium fuel in a car. It runs better, uses less, lasts longer, and gives you far fewer problems. The vitamins work in synergy with your medication, creating a multiplying effect on your blood sugar control. After Mrs. Johnson started the correct supplementation of these 3 vitamins, she told me something deeply moving that touched me. She said, "Doctor, I thought I would never again have energy to play with my grandchildren. I had given up on that. Now, I run after them in the backyard. I play, I laugh, I truly live." Her blood sugar stabilized completely. The doctor was able to reduce the dose of one of the medications she was taking, and she recovered something priceless, the hope of living well. Can you imagine having that same transformation? Based on dozens of studies published in the last 5 years in the main international medical journals, and on my direct clinical experience with hundreds of diabetic patients, I can affirm with conviction, correcting these vitamin deficiencies may be exactly the missing link in your treatment. The difference between living hostage to diabetes with constant fear of complications and having real control over your health, could literally be in these 3 simple and accessible nutrients. Are you ready for this change? But pay attention to this crucial point. Before supplementing anything, you need to talk with your doctor and do laboratory tests to measure your current levels of these vitamins. Each body is unique. Each person absorbs and metabolizes differently, and doses need to be personalized for you specifically. And never, ever, under any circumstance, abandon your medication without proper medical guidance. Vitamins are allies of treatment, not substitutes. If you made it here with me, it's because you're truly searching for real and scientifically proven answers. And I tell you with complete sincerity, those answers exist. They're available and they can transform your life. The right knowledge, applied the right way, can save your quality of life and perhaps even add healthy and full years to your journey. You deserve to live without fear, without pain, without limitations. If this content made sense to you, if you recognized your situation here, leave a comment telling your experience with diabetes. Had you heard about these 3 vitamins before? Share this video with someone who needs to know this. It could be a family member, a friend, anyone who's struggling with diabetes. And subscribe to the channel because I'm going to continue bringing serious information based on science that can really make a difference in your health. Until the next video, and remember, your health is in your hands, and each small action counts much more than you imagine.